Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news, and I've got my large iced coffee with caramel and milk all ready here because I'm going to record 3 of these back to back to back. These are the top comedy specials of 2024, according to me, so let's talk about that. And I've been chatting about this on the side when I was on the Letterman podcast and in the Facebook group. It's just a list. I'm not saying, you know what, I'm right, you're wrong. Comedy is very subjective, depending on the type of comedy you like. Some things tickle one person's brain and don't tickle a different person's brain. It's just a list. Let's not overreact to it. But what I do is, starting on January 1st, as the specials come out, I put them on a list. I have this broken into 3 different sections. First up is a top 16. So why 16? As I rank these, I kind of tier them, and I'm like, okay, that is in this A tier, and then these other ones, I have 14 more under a section called More Good Specials. That'll be tomorrow, and those are very good and recommended, but they're not in that same class as this first group that we're going to talk about today. And then the third episode is the specials that also existed, some of which I liked, but just didn't make the list. I'll explain as we get to those. So what does Johnny Mac have as the top special of the year? It's the roast of Tom Brady. I mean, it was epic, hilarious. Kevin Hart brought his A game. And along the way, Tony Hinchcliffe got on everybody's radar, and Nikki Glaser got to step up in class. So just alone, Nikki Glaser set, Hinchcliffe set, Kevin Hart's individual performance. The individual performances were awesome. As a thing, the roast of Tom Brady was the best stand-up special of the year. Now, if you're like, John, that's not really a stand-up special, I'm not going to count that one. Okay, fine. Then, in that case, what I have at number 2, Dave Attell's Hot Cross Buns on Netflix. It was like 35 minutes long. This was Attell showing you how it's done. Got up, crushed, hilarious, out. All killer, no filler, as they say. Dave Attell, Hot Cross Buns, that's on Netflix. At number 3, again, if you want to nitpick that this isn't a stand-up special, that's fine. Again, it's just a list. I have Triumph the Insult Comic Dogs, You Lucky Bastards. That's on YouTube. It came out in March. At the time, I had it number 1, and then Attell came out like 2 days later. But this thing is hilarious and really got me on a Triumph kick all year. So find that on YouTube, Triumph, You Lucky Bastards. At number 4, Ronny Chieng's Love to Hate It, just out recently on Netflix. A friend of the show, Jason Zinneman, had it as his number 1 special, and I can see why. Ronny is an awesome storyteller. I appreciated that I didn't see the tags coming. A lot of times I watch these specials and I'm like, I know where this is going to land. I see the punchline coming. And Ronny got belly laughs out of me. And I've talked about how I have the Emperor of Rome syndrome, where I will just analyze comedy and be like, oh, that was funny, but I don't laugh. At Ronny's special, I laughed. As I had said before I saw it, I wasn't going to arm wrestle Jason Zinneman and be like, no, you're wrong, or it's just a list. But I can see why he has Ronny at number 1. I have him at 4. And again, if you want to throw out Brady and Triumph, I would have it at 2, with Attell just being a tighter set. Number 5 from YouTube, David Cross's Worst Daddy in the World. I haven't seen too many people spotlighting this one, and I have it in my notes, exclamation point. So that's David Cross. Number 6, James Adomian's Past of Most Resistance. That was also on YouTube. Very, very funny. 7, Dusty Slay's Workin' Man. There's no G in the workin'. Maybe it came out too early in the year and people have forgotten that it even existed, but absolutely one of the best, and he's one of my favorite comedians today. Number 8 is Kyle Kinane's Dirt Nap. That was on YouTube back in April. As a special alone, it's number 8, but Kyle has the best chunk of the year. He does a 10-minute chunk about Fast and Furious movies. That is the best chunk of the year. Kyle Kinane, Dirt Nap. Number 9, Matt Rife's Lucid. That was on Netflix in August. I know we're supposed to hate on Matt Rife, but you know what? My note here to myself was trying, exclamation point. And what I mean is he went for it. He tried to do something. So many of these specials are, you know, a guy getting up there and you've heard a guy do this type of material before. I'm pale, I'm fat, I eat Pop-Tarts, you know who I'm talking about? And it's like, okay, but could you do something more interesting? So if you want to hate on Rife and be like, it's just crowd work, I don't care. I'm a guy on a couch, and it was funny. Number 9, Matt Rife, Lucid. Number 10, Sam Morril's You've Changed. Very, very funny special you'll find on Amazon. And to round out the top 10, Sam Morril's You've Changed. That one came out on Amazon. Very, very funny special. We'll take the break here. We'll do 11 through 16, and I've got some other things that are very, very funny but aren't stand-up specials. At number 11, Dimitri Martin's Deconstructed on Netflix. Much like some of the specials that I've liked on this list, this is Dimitri trying to do something. Him interacting with the drawings, a really strong closer that I won't spoil. Very, very good. Number 12, a guest on this program this year, Des Bishop. His special Of All People came out on YouTube on October. Just from the opening clip where he starts doing crowd work in Mandarin, I was like, wow, and it's a very funny hour. Des Bishop, Of All People on YouTube. 13, Hassan Minhaj is Off With His Head. That was on Netflix in October. Hassan sometimes gets criticized for being a little too stylized, but I like that special a lot. I felt it. At number 14, Jimmy Carr's Natural Born Killer. That feels like it came out forever ago. It was back in April on Netflix. You know, I like Jimmy Carr. He's going to make my list. Unless he hands in a real stinker, he's always going to make my list. Number 15 is Phil Wang's Wangin' There, Baby. I dragged my daughter into watching that one, and we both laughed on the couch for an hour and change. Like Phil Wang a lot. And number 16, the final special to make my toppest tier, Chad Daniels, Empty Nester. That was on Netflix in August. Very, very funny. And I'm hearing more and more comedians talk about Chad Daniels, so it seems like he might step up in class this year. All right, some other things that were really funny but don't quite fit on this list. Jerry Seinfeld's Unfrosted movie, if you were of a certain age, and I am. I thought it was hilarious, laughed out loud, had low expectations, and I was like, you know what? This is pretty entertaining. Gianmarco Cerezi, guest on this program and friend of the show. He dropped 15 minutes on YouTube at the end of June. That was right around when Biden decided not to run. He had some timely material he wanted to get out. That is a very, very funny set. It is 15 minutes. So, we've talked about on this program all year, what's a special, what's not a special. I don't know. 15 minutes feels a little short for a special, but apparently Dave Attell's was long enough. Who knows? But definitely check that out. Shane Gillis's show Tires on Netflix. I'm surprised more people aren't buzzing about that because people are for sure buzzing about Shane Gillis. That was 6 episodes in and out. Stavi's on that one. It is funny. It is entertaining. Shane Gillis doing Shane Gillis things. I'm not sure why more people aren't buzzing about it, but it did get a season 2, which is great. And speaking of Shane Gillis, the episodes of Kill Tony where Shane showed up in character as Trump and stayed in character as Trump and just nailed the Trump vibe if it were actually Trump and the kinds of things Trump might say if he were a guest on Kill Tony. Absolutely amazing. That was one of the best. To be fair to some specials that were not released at the time of this recording, I am recording this on Wednesday, December 18th, 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time. So at this time, I have not seen Rose Matafeo's special on Max, Nate Bargatze's Christmas Eve special. Now, I like Nate a lot. I would be surprised if Nate would not be higher up on this list, but Netflix doesn't want to answer my request for screeners, and I haven't seen it, and I needed to pre-record this one. I would imagine Nate would, if he didn't make the top tier, would probably make that second tier, but I don't know. Didn't see it. Also not seeing the Netflix end of the year roast thing. I had pretty low expectations for that, despite people like Jeff Ross and Mark Norman being on it. But I don't know. Alana Glazer's special on Hilarious. Hulu publicists, get back to me. I can't review your stuff if you don't interact with me. So I don't know. Maybe it was good. Maybe it was the best special of the year. I don't know. Hulu publicist, can't help you. And Michelle Buteau is on New Year's Eve on Netflix. So those are the ones that I haven't seen. So to recap, number 1, a roast of Tom Brady, and if you want to say that doesn't count, fine, Dave Attell's Hot Cross Buns. And those are your top comedy specials of the year. Tomorrow, 14 more good specials you should watch. See you then.